Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club, and we got a special guest in the building.
The legend.
Iyanla Vanzant. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having
Good
me.
morning. Thank you for being
Why
here.
am I clapping for my own?
That's right. I'm clapping for you. Thank you for the gifts, too. She came bearing gifts.
That's right.
Yes.
This looks like it smells great.
Masterpiece, Spirit
Okay.
of a Man. That is my line of natural body products. It cleans your body as it clears your energy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And you said put this on in the shower. This is the
shower
Afterglow
oil.
shower oil.
Yeah, put it,
Okay.
it's the afterglow. Put it on in the shower.
Okay.
You can even, use a little water to rinse it off. I just want you to feel good and look good.
I'm going to try it tonight.
You better.
Yes.
And your African black soap body wash. It's
Word.
not soap, it's
Okay.
body wash.
Body wash.
All right. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm so excited to see you. What am I? I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Happy for you.
Thank you.
I've been watching you grow and unfold. And just to see y'all work together, it just makes me smile.
Hey.
Like a proud mama.
Oh,
There you go.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
So how have you been?
I've been good.
Because you've been running with Fix My Life, and now it's not anymore. So how do you feel after that? How are you doing? Do you miss it?
I do not.
Mm-hmm.
I do not. I was so exhausted. It literally took me 2 years to land back in my body.
Ooh, while dealing with everybody else's energy and
Yeah, and being on the go all the time. I hadn't been home more than 2 weeks in probably 15 years between the show and speaking. So it took me literally 2 years. Through the pandemic, that's when I realized how exhausted I was. And then after the pandemic, I was like, where's my life? Where am I? So to get back in my body, to get back in my house, I hadn't spent 3 weeks consistently in my house in over 10 years. And then to decide what I want to do nothing,
That's a good thing.
So I make my products and I quilt. And now I have a podcast on
the R Spot.
R Spot. And I'm raising my 5-year-old great-grandson. Hoi vey. Single by choice. I lost my partner right on the end of at the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Condolences.
So other than that, just focusing on healing the world.
Absolutely.
That's what I do.
So was it worth it?
Fix my life.
Yeah.
Oh, every moment.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved the people. I'm a teacher. That's what I do. It was life-giving to me. And when it was done, it was done. And again, like I said, I didn't realize how exhausted I was because I was in it. You're in it. You're doing it. You're going. It was absolutely worth it. People still recognize me in the streets. They say out of sight, out of mind. Well, not for me. I can't go to the Walmart, the gas station.
No, it's like.
Wait a minute. Let me tell you the funny joke. I was looking for something, and I just, I'm wandering around on a Sunday afternoon and went into Goodwill. And all the people in the Goodwill recognized me, and I know they were saying, what in the world is Iyanla Vanzant doing in the Goodwill store?
It's like somebody need to help her fix her life.
Right. Or her life done fell apart
Yeah.
now. So, it was absolutely worth it. And if nothing else, the legacy of Fix My Life and really what it did on television, just like Starting Over that I did back in the early 2000s, I think it set a trend, and I'm waiting to see who's coming up behind me, who's going to be the next one.
I don't know if there is an authority. Like you were looked at as an authority in that department. I don't know if there's anybody that we look to like that.
Well,
now.
more than the authority, they just need the gift. See, I think Fix My Life worked because I wasn't doing television. I was doing healing. And it didn't matter to me. I had to train myself. It didn't matter to me that the camera was in front of my face. If I'm going to yell at you, I'm going to yell at you. If I'm going to hug you, I'm going to hug you. If I'm going to kiss you, if I'm going to tell you business. So I think that whoever it is that wants to step into that space to do healing in that way can't be someone who wants to do television. They have to be committed to the work. And that's why I could walk away. When my spirit said, this is done, I could walk away because I wasn't there to do television.
Right.
I was there to do healing.
I also think the way mindfulness has evolved in the conversations we're having about mental health and healing, it's kind of hard for, like we all know, nobody can fix someone else's life.
Oh, absolutely.
You
and
know?
I always said that. I always said that. I'm giving you tools and information. I'm helping you identify the issue because very often people don't even, A, know they have an issue. They think it's somebody else. Or B, know what the issue is. And then if they recognize the issue, they don't know what to do about it. So that's what the beauty, the power of Fix My Life, that people were participatory. They could say, oh, I know, that's my mother, that's my, oh, look at me, ooh. I do that.
They ever call you back to say, hey, we need you for one more? Like, do you ever look on social media online and be like, they would need me?
All the time, people say, we miss your show, we need you back, blah, 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 DDD.
Like Blueface and Krishan. I don't know if you know who they are. They would need you. Like, they would need you like
They
yesterday.
need something bigger than me.
Yeah, I can't see that.
No.
It's weird though. I can't see this generation with this.
Really?
No,
The
I just think
people know who I am.
No, I agree with that, but I just think that it still has to be respect. I think even with those other
she
ones you did
demands
back in the
respect.
day, it was respect. I don't know if this generation has that respect for their elders in that
They
way.
have it for me, and I don't know why. Maybe because I wear jeans or have a cleavage. I don't know. But they really do. I meet them in the Target, and I say to them, how do you know who I am? My mama made me watch your show.
Okay,
So
okay.
the young people, they do. You know what, Charlamagne, I think it's your presence. It's how you carry yourself. Now, I could probably predict that maybe 10 to 15,000 people would drop dead on the spot if I ever showed up somewhere in a thong.
I think so. I think
If
so.
I ever showed up
Oh, we gotta
somewhere
see.
in the thong.
You said you gotta see.
But you
Yeah, I
know
don't
why? Not because I'm in the thong, but because Auntie Iyanla, oh my God, she's lost her mind, she's dying. So I think it's your presence. I think it's your presence. And I've always had a present, not that demands, but commands respect. And I hope I have
Absolutely.
carried myself in such a way. And I did it, you know, now that we're in Women's History Month, I carry myself that way because my grandmother, who was a Native American who passed for black in the early 1900s, it was easier for her to be black than it was for her to be a Native American.
Wow.
Scrub floors and toilets in Yonkers and White Plains to feed me and my brother.
Wow.
I am her vision. I am her legacy. I am, you know, having been able to go to college and law school, walk away from welfare, walk away from practicing law to do my calling in the world. I can't disgrace my grandmother
That's right.
who was spit on, who had to come in the back door. You understand? Who had to make shrimp salad for the French poodles. I have a responsibility. And in terms of the young people, nobody is teaching them that. I have a responsibility to Rissy Harris and Sahara Elizabeth Jefferson, my mother, who scrubbed toilets on the Pennsylvania Railroad, who died of breast cancer when I was 2, because as a black woman, she didn't have medical coverage and they didn't have the money to pay for her mastectomy. So who am I? I can't get on the pole. Might be fun, but I can't.
You know, I wanted to ask you too, like when you talk about COVID, I feel like none of us were the same after, you know, going through COVID, but like who was there for you when, you know, after your partner transitioned and stuff, like who was there for you?
You know, this is going to sound weird. I think God and the Holy Spirit, you know, the state that our relationship was in at that time. He was in Philly, I was in Maryland, but in our hearts, we were still together. And I knew when he refused treatment, I knew that transition was his choice. And because I loved him, I honored that choice. He wouldn't want me to be here sad and weeping and carrying on. You know, and the fact that he was in Philly, we were bi-statal. The fact that he was in Philly and I was in my home, I didn't have to go through the missing of him physically all the time. But still, I never felt sad for him. Or sad, I don't think sad is the word. Of course, there's natural grieving and the missing of but he refused treatment. That was his choice. And I had to honor that. I had to respect that.
Now, the R spot, for people that don't know, what are you discussing and talking about and going through on the
Relationships, because they a mess. They're a mess right now. Have you seen the things going on?
What's the biggest thing people want to discuss with relationships?
Why it doesn't look the way they think it should look. That's
They believe in fairy
thing.
tales.
Yeah. Why it doesn't look the way they think it should look. And also, this is huge in relationships. Why they aren't getting what they're giving. I do this and I give that and I did this and he did this or she did that, because men call me too, Charlamagne. Yeah, because we've made relationships transactional. They're not so full or soul filled anymore. They're transactional. You give me this and I'll do that. You do this, you make me feel this. That's crazy. And also control. Making somebody prove they love you over and over and over again. Let me see how bad I can behave and if you'll stop loving me. Or let me say this or do this, and if you don't respond the way I want you to, that means you don't love me. It's crazy. I don't understand it.
And those are wounded people, right? Like if you're doing that to a person, that means that
we all wounded.
Yeah.
You do know that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know that we all crazy as hell?
Absolutely. I remind myself of that every day.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But so it's not the woundedness. It's the misinterpretations of love. The wounds or the experience of being wounded disrupted our expression and experience of love. So many of us have love wired to pain. You know, we have love wired to struggle. We have love wired to so many dysfunctional things that it just manifests in our relationships. So right now I'm focusing on women and relationships. And I say women because we got to get this together.
What do you mean? Don't bite your tongue now.
You know I will not. My experience and my observation is that most women are men in skirts, meaning that the way their presence, their being, the way we roll in the world, it's very masculine because we've been conditioned and programmed out of our feminines. And when I say, I don't mean feminist movement in the world, I want to be a fireman or a football player. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how to be a woman in your being. What is the distinction between feminine power and masculine power? And we've been conditioned and trained to be men in skirts. We do everything like men. We compete like men. I said this on the R Spot a few weeks ago. I said, most women want their boyfriend to act like their girlfriend, chatting, shopping. But when the man comes home, what they meet is another dude. You know how women are up. It's just so.
Why do you think that happens?
And why do you think it's such a problem?
It's a problem, first of all, because the feminine presence is missing on this planet. That's why we got so much hoopla and conflagration going on with the weather, with the politics, because see, the old male guard is dying. That masculine patriarchy, it's dying off. And you see them fighting and clawing to hold on to power with that's the whole Roe v. Wade turnover. Oh, we gonna control you. We gonna control you and your hoo-ha. Okay. Like women get pregnant by themselves. We need to have some bill where men are involuntarily sterilized. How about that? Can we do that? Just take your old weenie out and put it up here and let me whack on it.
My wife want me to get a vasectomy, so I'm down for it.
That's number one. And so, but we have been programmed and conditioned and raised where our feminine power and our presence as females is dishonored, disregarded, disrespected, just in the world, not just by men. And we've also been taught and trained that our softness is inappropriate, it's dangerous. Our emotions are inappropriate, and nobody wants to be bothered with that. So where do we go with that? How do we know? If a woman knew that her greatest power was silence, that's her greatest power, because then she can hear. But we run our mouth all the time, talking about everything. Stillness. If a woman really understands and knows who she is, she can walk in a room and take control of every man in the room. How she walks, how she sits, how she talks, how she be. We don't know how to be women. We know how to do what women do.
When do you think that was lost?
For black women?
Of course.
Of course, we are in slavery. Because we had to diminish ourselves and our hearts. Who we were as women became dangerous because we were just raped and violated. We were subject to what anybody else wanted to do with us. We watched our fathers and sons be hung. A woman can survive a rape, but a man can't survive a hanging. So for a mother to watch her son be hung, or her husband or her father, and then have to not be able to say anything. So we lost our voice, we lost our dignity, we lost our majesty, and we lost our medicine. We lost it, And it's those old grandmothers, those old church grandmothers that, made us wear girdles and all of those things, teaching us at the table. I had these aunts, Aunt Lizzie, Aunt Alma, Aunt Dora, Aunt Nancy, and they were cigarette smoking, liquor drinking, card playing women who would get together on Saturday night, and I'm in the corner listening. I learned a lot. Two things I noticed about them. They always wore a skirt. They cussed and they smoked their cigarettes and drank their liquor, but the hoo-ha was connected to the earth. They always wore a skirt. They did not wear pants. And they all knew how to cook. Lizzie did the fish. Nancy did the hog maws. Alma did the this, the that, the other thing. And I learned so much from those women. Where are women sitting around talking today in a way that teaches the young girls,
Social media.
But it's mean. It's mean talking. I want you to search social media. I want you to search everywhere and find one place you've ever heard me speak against another black woman. A woman, period. I don't do that. I want to pull up on her, have a conversation with her, So one of the things that I'm doing this year that I've prayed about it and I've committed to it, I'm going to do a Rites of Passage program for women.
What's that going to look like?
Well, I want women from all over this country, and I know with COVID and money and everything, so we're going to do 9 weeks online, because a woman's training, her development, is in alignment with her age. And every age of a woman has a lesson, has a blessing, has a gift, has a grace. Women don't know that. We know as indigenous women, Native American women, some African women. So there's the 20s is a clan. There are some things 20-year-olds need as women to hear, to do, to master, to surrender. There's something 30-year-old women need to grow, to heal, to learn. And if she didn't handle it at 20, now she's got her 20 issues in her 30s. If she doesn't handle it at 30, they're in the 40. That's why you got 50-year-old women walking around acting like they're 30 because they didn't handle their stuff. They didn't learn their lesson. They didn't master their gift. They didn't know their service. So I know those things. I'm old. I know I look good. Go ahead, tell me.
You do look good. Say that every time I see you.
But I'm old.
Now, what about on the other side when you talk about, women losing. What about men losing masculinity?
Yeah, because I wonder if women have to show up, I guess, as you say, as men in skirts because the men haven't been men.
Well, men were raised by women.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. We're all out of order. But I'm not arrogant enough to tell a man how to be a man. I can help you heal.
Mm-hmm.
But then what you do with that, that's you on your own. I can tell a woman how to heal. I can tell a woman how to be a woman.
That's real.
Why? Because I was taught. I was trained. What my grandmother and my sister and my aunties taught me 70 years ago, you don't even hear that today. You don't hear about it. I don't know what. So my thing is I want to share this medicine, this information, this knowledge. So the way it's formulating in my mind right now and the way my team and I are putting it together, we're going to do 9 weeks online where the women work in their clans, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then we're going to come together for the ceremony, ritual, and initiation. Because there's initiations that women need. Men get circumcised. Women do something else. And so many of us didn't get it. In some traditions like the bar mitzvah or the bat mitzvah in the Jewish tradition, and some people do rites of passage for their 13, 16-year-old. But what about all of the women that didn't have any of that?
That's real.
They weren't barred or batted and no rights. So I don't, we're all out of order. But we as the women in this time have the power to bring it all together. Didn't your wife get you straight?
Absolutely.
Did your wife get you straight?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Why? Because she was standing in her presence as a woman. Had your best interest at heart.
Correct.
It's going to support you back into wholeness, not compete with you and not beat you down. And so more of us have to do that so that our sons and our brothers and husbands, and I'll confess, I used to be one of those women that beat men down with my mouth and my mind. And I heard myself one day say, men are so stupid. And I said, wait a minute, hold up. Is your son stupid? Is your father stupid? Is your brother stupid? And I had to check myself. And that's when I really went on this quest to look at myself as a woman, my power, my majesty. If you said to a woman, show me your majesty, what's that? Show me your divinity. And who's going to do it? That would be me.
You made me think about something because, I thought about this like when I saw like a documentary that said, I think it was called the type, What is a Woman? And it talked about identity and, biological born males who identify as women. What do you feel about that?
I don't think I feel anything because everybody has their lesson and everybody has a right to choose. And I can't judge because I don't know. I've never had that experience. I was born with a hoo-ha. I love my hoo-ha. We're friends. The hoo-ha, yes. So I don't know in this body what it would feel like to me if I wanted to be a man. I don't know. So I can't speak to that. And I certainly can't judge it. And I don't have that experience, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'd always wonder what does that do for people's ultimate perception of women? Like I hear women saying, "Well, I'm a biological woman." Like it's just
I don't speak that way because I'm old.
you know what you know.
I just know what I know. I'm sorry. I and I listen to the young people, and I want to be, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's when the silence comes into play.
Yeah, that's when I just shut the hell up. Excuse me, everybody.
It's okay.
Auntie said a bad word.
It's all right.
But, here's the piece that I don't understand. I don't understand it. So I don't have no heat or no judgment. But I've never run around talking about me being a heterosexual. Never. I just, I'm strictly dickly, been that way all my life. I guess it was just natural, but I've never run around talking about that. So I'm trying to adjust to all of this conversation in the world about your sexual preference or your body parts. I just don't understand that. And for me, where I come from, nothing is private anymore.
Right.
Nothing. Everything is on the
social media, internet.
Everything. Nothing is private. What happened to privacy? Where is it? So what that does is it strips us of a level of dignity, I think, or where everything is just okay. I don't understand it, but so I just watch.
Now, for couples that fight a lot, a lot of times couples get into a lot of different things. What are some things that you would advise them to do so they can get out of that phase?
Tell the truth.
That might lead to a fight.
That's where it started.
There's some hidden hurts, unspoken hurts that lead to that. Fighting is not bad. I'd rather have a couple fight than for them to be indifferent. If they're indifferent and whatever you do, fine, shut up, I don't care. That's when you're in trouble. But if you can fight fair, you good. So there's a truth that you have to tell, and there's a power struggle. There's a struggle for power and control. And if you're really fighting bad, you need outside intervention because you cannot clear an upset with the object of your upset. Understand? So I'm mad at you. You the object of my upset. And now you and me trying to clear the upset, we're just going to whip ourselves around in circles. You need a neutral third party to come in and help you a different perspective. Gotcha. The other thing is to figure out, here are the 4 questions that I think every relationship needs to ask, everybody in a relationship. Is this an important relationship in my life? Because sometimes Boo-Boo and Kafada are fighting and they don't even care. I mean, just because you're here right now, you're the one for right now. Is this an important relationship in my life? That's the first question. And the second question you have to ask yourself is, do I value this person? And do they value me? You can tell that from behavior. The third question is, am I willing to take 100% responsibility for the state of this relationship? Meaning, I can't change you, I can't fix you, but the state that it's in, the arguing, the lack of support, the adversarial, whatever it is, am I willing to take 100% responsibility, which means, am I willing to look at what I do? Not what you do. What am I doing? And what's motivating me? And the final question is, am I willing to do the work to heal it, no matter what the other person does?
Ooh.
And that's the big one.
Ooh. What's the answer to that question most of the time? Are people willing to do the work?
They drooling at me from the first question. Is this an important relationship in my life? Well, yeah, it's important to me. That's my wife. That's my husband. Why is it important to you? Why is it important?
Outside of
That's
the title.
when they can't answer. Or do you value this person? Do you feel valued by this person? It usually breaks down right up in there. And then when you get to 100% responsibility, each one can tell you what the other one did or didn't do or isn't doing or what they like or don't like, but they're not willing to take 100% responsibility. And so, yeah, relationships are big.
You said you're single by choice. Has it been difficult for you throughout the years just because you are who you are and people feel like they might have to have it all together before they step to you or, be close to healed to step to you?
Well, no, not healed. I ain't healed, Charlamagne. I'm crazy.
I want to say close to. None of us are ever really, I would think.
I just wear it well. The thing is, I'm crazy and I know it. Most people are crazy and they deny it. And that's what gets them in trouble. Know you're crazy. Give it a name. Train it. Okay? Don't just let it run amok. But I think most brothers are afraid to approach me for whatever reason. White men are not at all. they roll up nice.
I feel like young men would be trying to holler at you.
Oh, in the gas station, the man told me he loved me. He said, I said, are you flirting with me? He said, yes, I like older women. I said, do you know they can give you worms? Oh, he was all over me.
What did he say?
I said,
I'm willing to take the
how
risk?
old are you? He said, I'm 37. I said, baby, I got underwear older than you.
What did he say? Let me see.
He don't know. I might have. Listen, just cheap thrills in the gas station. It was so wonderful. I was happy with myself that I recognized that he was hitting on me. But I did ask just to check. I said, are you hitting on me? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, see, that's the problem. If you got to hit on somebody, you call ma'am. That's a problem, boo. Take yourself on home.
So what do you do when the white men holler?
I'm nice to them. I am nice to them. You know, they have a different approach than the brothers.
Yeah.
What's their approach?
They want to talk about what you do. They want to talk about what you do. You know, and a lot of them know my work. And then they ask this question, you know. I'd really like to take you to dinner sometime. Is that something you could be available for? No.
Damn.
I don't want to lead you on.
Right.
I don't want you to even, you know, and
I'm with you. I like seeing black men with black women. I'm unapologetic about that. I think black love is revolutionary.
I you know, it might be good for, because I have some really good girlfriends that their husbands are not men of color. I just don't grow that way. I don't. But it's always interesting to me. And they always want to know what you do and where you've been and if you like to travel and all of that. And I'm really very nice to them.
What do you think about people who are into like the polygamy nowadays? Those relationships where
well, see, I'm old, so I could do polygamy. I would just want her to be younger so he don't have to be bothering me all the time. Go over there. She's 42. I'm 70. Go on, take your butt on over there.
You can do that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
You joking or are you serious?
What do you think the benefits could
I'm
be?
very serious.
Really?
Yeah, I could do that. When I was younger, I couldn't because I didn't know who I was. And I didn't understand the value and the purpose of a relationship. So when I was younger, I didn't do cheating. But I could do polygamy. I could be one of other wives in this day and age.
Really?
I couldn't have done that when I was 30 or 40. I didn't. I ended up marrying a man who was a polygamist. My second husband came out of a polygamous relationship. And at that time, I thought, you're cheating. I still don't do cheating. If we're going to do that, it has to be an open conversation and agreement. But you sneaking around the corner with, Chris D'Amata, no, I don't do cheating. Because you know why? It's dishonest.
I agree.
And if you're going to lie to me, then I can't trust you. But if we sit down and this is what we want to do, I like it because you be over there sometime, I'll be over here, I don't have to cook, I save my toilet paper, you don't have to, my toothpaste, go on, have you. And I don't think we can tell people who they can and cannot love. If I love you and you're saying this is what you need to support, satisfy yourself, why would I say no to that? Because I know who I am as a woman. And I don't know if it's possible for one person to satisfy every need another person has. And if the other person is willing to say, well, this is what you give me, I'm willing to set, that's fine. But if we're together and I'm not living up to everything you need, and that's what you need to take care of yourself. I know most Western women are hearing me now, and they are like, she done lost her rabbit.
Oh, yeah, they ain't ready for this conversation. You giving
No,
this
but
morning.
it's true.
I'm about to subscribe to the R Spot.
But hear me. When you consider the number of men of color who are incarcerated, when you consider the number of men of color, young men of color, who've died of violence. There's just not enough of y'all. There isn't. So what do we do if we want to be in relationship with a man of color? And I'm talking black and brown man. What do we do? Because they're destroying the red man. They're destroying them with their liquor and their casinos. So indigenous women are having the same issue. But in many native indigenous nations, polygamy is part of the culture. It is.
So you don't think being with one person is natural?
No, I do.
Or you do think it's natural?
Yeah, I think if that's your choice, I do think it's. You asked me if I could do it. I said, yeah, I could do it.
Absolutely.
But if I'm not advocating that, that's for me. I've learned a long time ago that don't make decisions for other people. I can hardly find my glasses. I can't be making no decision for nobody.
We had Lala up here about how long ago was that? A month and a half ago? Maybe 2 months?
About 8 weeks ago.
And she was talking about marriage, and she said that people today don't date for marriage, and marriage isn't a priority for people anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It's changed. People don't even date anymore. I come from the day when you didn't take the guy home the first night and give him a key. I didn't. I don't come from that time. Now, you might take him around the corner and give him a little bit and act like you didn't, but you didn't take him home and give him a key. You just didn't do that. You were sneaking. Do people date? Court? I'll tell you a funny story. When my daughter was about 16 years old, I came home one day. I come from the age and the era where you don't bring no boy in the house if your mama ain't home. Right. Did you come from that?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
come from that
Absolutely.
too, right? Okay. And so I came home, and she was in the living room. They were sitting on the sofa watching TV. It looked very innocent, but then I know about sneaking around the corner and acting like you didn't. And I come from the time when a young man comes to a young lady's house for the first time, he has to bring a gift for the parents, to the mother at least. And he wants to meet the father. That's where I came from. So I came in and they're sitting on the sofa, and I looked at him and I said, who are you? Who are your people? And why are you in my house with my daughter? And where's my gift? That boy,
he ran out of there.
He was traumatized.
That's real, though.
I said, where's my gift? Would you come here to get something from my daughter and you don't bring me a gift? Who are your people? Where you come from? And he was, so my son said, wait a minute, Mom. Just wait a minute. He said, what's your name, son? And, but where's that at?
Yeah.
Where are the fathers looking at who the girl is going out with? And where are the young men that you just come and mama's not home and you roll around in the hay and you don't even bring mommy a cookie, a flower, or nothing?
But those are the traditions that's not being taught no more.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're going to teach them in the rites of passage. We got certain kinds of things. Because I think sometimes we get our hearts broken as women because we give away our dignity too soon and our value too soon. And we don't have appropriate requirements. Your wife has certain requirements for you, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
Does your wife?
Of course.
I know she does. There's certain things that even if you think about it, you want to punch yourself in the eye.
All the time. I beat myself up for thinking about it.
That's right.
Because she has certain, but doesn't it call you higher?
Absolutely. And being able to talk to her about those things, even about just those thoughts, helps the relationship.
Yeah. And it calls you higher. But if I'm going to support you and being down in your lowest common denominator and then beat you up about it, and I'm talking partners, I'm talking mothers with sons, that's really my concern. I really want to support mothers in balancing themselves, because when the woman is balanced, it just has a ripple effect. Just like when she's out of balance. When your wife is upset, isn't that nerve-wracking for you?
Absolutely. The whole house. Yeah.
The whole house, the dog, the fish stops swimming.
That's right.
Everything.
So I really want to support, because the planet needs us.
Right.
It's not just about our personal relationships, When I didn't run around when I was in a relationship. Nobody knew unless we went somewhere together. But just adding that balance, we don't have to talk about it and display it and all of that stuff. But for a woman to be in balance in her mind, in her life, in her spirit, the valuable contribution that she makes to everything.
That's right.
The workplace, the hospital, the kitchen, you know how many women are feeding their children bitterness and resentment and unforgiveness? It's in the grits. It's in the grits.
That's real. Wow.
They still mad at the baby daddy and they cooking that up in the mashed potato. No, stop it. Clean yourself out. He'll be back or not. Maybe, if he don't want to be with you, that's his loss.
Man, subscribe to the R Spot and
The
get
R
that
Spot,
hit.
ladies and
What does
gentlemen.
the R Spot mean? What does the R mean?
You know what the G spot is, right?
I do know the
something
G-spot.
good, right?
Yeah.
Well, the R spot is something good.
Well, check
Did you
out
get that
the
voice? Did
R-Spot.
you get that voice?
We got that voice. Yes, we did.
It means relationship.
A relationship.
Okay.
spot.
Got you.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe
That's
to the R Spots.
Well, thank you for
Okay,
joining us.
available
You're
everywhere you
invited
listen to
anytime you're in
podcasts.
town. Come on up here.
Okay.
Man, that
I
felt
want you
good.
to tell
Did
me how you like your spirit of a man. Okay.
I definitely will.
Will do.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Well,
And
thank
shit,
you so much.
You can give the bar to your wife because I don't like to bring other women's husbands gifts. So give the bar soap to your wife.
You got it.
Okay.
Iyanla Vanzant.
Thank
it's
you
the
for
Breakfast
having me.
Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.